What is going on? I am Johnny Von Duke and you're watching Disney Channel. What the fuck? Oh. Yeah, boys. Yes. We're talking about the Liver King today. Now, let's be real for a second. The story is like 3 weeks old already. It's gonna be like 5 weeks old by the time it gets put in my backlog. But you know, considering we've had the 9 days of Black Veil Brides up until this point, and considering it's been a while actually since we've covered like a social media person. I know we've had the Elon Musk episodes, but he's more of a company type dude. The social media part is just a nice bonus. But let's talk about Liver King, because I've been watching Atozi's video on it. Shout out to Atozi. Much bigger YouTuber than me, much bigger than I'll ever be. Much better quality content than I'll ever produce. I'm just a generic ass shit poster, and that's okay. But why are we talking about the Liver King now? It's just because I wanna it's weird. Because it's, you know, I usually watch these videos of these massive social media stars going off doing these damage control apologies, and it usually just makes me want to barf in my mouth a little bit. I usually just want to throw up. I just want to go jump off the bridge, so to speak. But honestly, I'm making this video today simply because I actually feel a little torn on the Liver King. Now listen, we all knew the Liver King's body wasn't natural. Like, look, I lift weights. This is all I got. I don't do anything heavy. I barely lift up to 40 pounds, like, for 20 minutes a day. Like, I do the bare minimum to keep myself not in the lowest state possible, okay? But listen, if you're doing the average workout, just going with 20s to 40s and shit like that, you're in my area. You know, you're still you see that? Skin and bones. You're still skin and bones. I don't eat a lot of meat. That's also one of my problems. Eating meat is pretty good for building up muscle, but yeah, so we all knew the Liver King's body wasn't natural. Again, I lift, I don't have shit. There are guys who lift and do have lots of shit. I'm not one of them. But again, I don't do the extreme workouts. I do the bare minimum just to keep my body up to performance level for work and shit like that. So it's not like I'm doing anything crazy. You know, the basic exercises to keep yourself healthy and going. That's all I do. And I'm not going to pretend I do anything else. But it's like, so we all knew his body wasn't natural. And it's like, so we just knew he was on it for so long. Nobody was pretending like, okay, the Liver King himself was. But it's like, nobody was pretending this guy's body was natural. The only person who was the Liver King. Oh my god, thank god my mic is on. I was afraid my microphone wasn't on up until now. And then I scrolled down and checked. Thank god I've actually been talking up until this point. But yeah. I just sneezed and I had to stop the recording. I hope I hit the stop button in time, but yeah, so we all knew it wasn't natural. Nobody except him was pretending it was. Doctors were pointing it out. Physicians, trainers, actual bodybuilders were pointing out and saying, dude, like people who were doing roids were pointing out this man was on roids. Like, listen, people who were doing them were pointing out he was doing them because there was like no difference between their body and his. So yeah, like, look at this man, he's jacked. Like, damn, look at that. Like, that is peak male performance right there. I'm just kidding. Don't do roids, or do. I don't care. Again, like we say on this channel all the time when it comes to drugs, it's not my bag. Y'all see the bongs in the background. We're not pretending we're not stoners on this channel. Like, listen, these guys see the vape, but we don't pretend we don't got vices here. Listen, man, do your bag, do what you gotta do. That's not my point to judge. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you sniff the white powder. I don't care if you do roids. I don't care if you take a little bit too much anxiety medicine. I really don't. Manage yourself, though. Don't go down the bad hill. Like, listen. Do whatever bag you gotta do, okay? Do whatever bag you gotta do. It's that simple. Do your bag. I don't care. I'll keep doing mine. But, like, just don't go down the damn hill, so to speak, right? Like, don't go tumbling down. It's that simple. Don't let it become your ultimate go-getter, you know? Just keep it simple. It's that simple. right? Like, just don't go down the damn dark hill. It's that easy. I hate saying it like that, but it really is. Like, and that's a big problem with I know I'm going off topic from the Liver King here. And I know this will be generalizing a lot of different category of drugs into one thing. But I want to keep it basic for the common man, so to speak. Like, there are like two types of drug users I have found from my experience. Like, listen, you have your, like, you know, and I guess stoners would most commonly go in this category too. Like, you have the people who just vape, do nicotine, they might sniff it in the morning, you know what I mean? Like, listen, like, there are people who just use it to get up and go. There are some people who just use it at the end of the day to relax. Recreational drug use is a really fucking risky topic just due to how many different categories there are. And this kind of recreational drug use, it's like, it's toning up your body. It can be destructive over time if it's not managed right. And even if it is managed right, it can be shown to do a lot more harm than good. Yes, there are actual cases. I'm not going to bullshit that there aren't. I'm not going to go on the full-on, non-legal drugs are bad. Well, steroids are legal in certain... you see, and that's the thing, too. The legality on steroids are really fucked. Like, under doctors, it's legal, but you can't go out and just roid yourself up. Even though it's really your call to get it in the first place. The doctor isn't telling you to get the shit, you know? Yeah, there will be some cases where you'll have an injury or something. They'll give you some to help you heal up. Some to help you tone up your body again to get you back into shape and performance. Yeah, that is true. But then you have cases like the Liver King where it's almost recreational and they're using it to keep their body toned up and amped up. And it's a really fucky area almost, you know? And it's the same thing, like, oh yeah, and I gotta talk about the second type of user, but you already know what that is. The bad one. The ones who only use that. The guys who just use it constantly. The people who can't get away from it or focus on anything else but it. And we don't even need to point out a specific drug there. You know, that comes with everything. You know, vaping, weed. Here's the reality. Even with shit like this, you have people like that. I'm not going to pretend there aren't stoners who that's all they fucking do. You know, I'm not going to pretend that either. And it very much is a bad thing. You know, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with hitting the bong once an hour. You know, I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with the once an hour bong rip. You could be healthier about your lifestyle. But that's the truth. I don't see any wrong with it. I don't care. I know people who rip the bong hourly and it's not a problem. But you know, it's one thing when you're ripping it once every hour and it becomes twice every hour, 3 times every hour, 4 times every hour, 5 times every hour, 6 times every hour. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, you get what I'm saying here? And to some of you guys, once an hour would probably be too much anyway. But keep in mind, that's just one rip compared to smoking a long-ass blunt or cigarette throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? Or like me with my box mod over here. I'm not setting a good example for myself. But this is why I feel so torn on the Liver King situation, you know? Because we very much have a do what bag you want to do type of deal on this channel. But we're not going to judge and bash people. I'm not going to, at least. I can't speak for the commenters. But it's like, I can't hate on people for just having their bag. So when I'm looking at the Liver King's apology and nobody was expecting him to be natural anyway, I really struggle to be frustrated or angry with it, you know? It's like, how do I put it? It's like a blue law. You know, blue laws are those books in the law book that aren't even followed anymore and are still just there because nobody really sees the point. Nobody's following them, so why would we even ask it to begin with? Nobody cares. Nobody actively listens to it. Hell, it's like, I don't know what state there is, but I shit you not, there's actually a law about singing in the shower in one state. You know, that's the example of a blue law. Nobody follows it. I can't remember if this is Florida or Georgia. It's one of the two. Or it might be what, is it South Carolina? I can't remember. It's a southern state, but there is a law with no couches on your porch. Like, who is gonna listen to that? Oh, hold on. Man, don't get rid of the fucking Liver King video. Oh, no. Well, we lost the Liver King video, boys. We lost the Liver King video. Can I put the Liver King video back up? I would love to have my glorious background footage for this. Yes. The Liver King is back up on the screen, boys. But yeah, that's why I feel so fucking torn about it. You know? Because nobody was expecting it. I wasn't expecting it. But then you read through the comments and people are like, you lied, you lied, you lied, you lied, you lied. No shit. We knew that already. And that's why I struggle to feel angry personally, because nobody... I don't know. Like, usually we do shitposting on this channel, and I'm not gonna try to defend the Liver King. I don't want to defend this guy. But it's just like, with this whole situation, I struggle to be angry or malice. I get it. I wasn't on his diet plan. I wasn't a part of his supplement shit. I wasn't following him like a dedicated follower. There probably were people not following him and believing he was natural. You know, and I get it. To use people, you're going to be pissed. You fully deserve that. I'm not going to bullshit otherwise, but this is just my take, okay, as a outsider looking in, as a viewer and active commentator on the recreational drug shit. Because let's be honest, we've delved into the topic more than once on this channel. We're not going to pretend that it isn't open for discussion here. It very much is. And I'm sorry if you're uncomfortable with that, but them's the breaks. This is the world we live in. We gotta move. We gotta keep moving. We gotta accept it. I don't want to accept it. You don't want to accept it. But listen, as a man who vapes, as a man who stones, like, yeah, I can't be the guy to bash recreational drug use, even with steroids, something that I feel mixed on and that I feel is the biggest gray area in the drug world, honestly. Like, fuck, let's be honest here, man. Let's take another example of something that's known to enhance performance, you know? A certain needle-like object, a certain demonic juice that people put into their veins. Yeah, I don't need to say the title of it. We're not going to. You know what I'm talking about. Heroin. You know what I'm talking about. Like, listen, for example, that is 100% confirmed bad. That is 100% destroys you. 100% addiction. 100% everything wrong. You don't really need to do any debating on that. People will know heroin is naturally bad. But then you get into the steroids world and it's a mixed bag. Where you have people toning up their bodies, you have people using it for recovery purposes, and in some cases steroids are actually used to help with other cases of addictions. To help people get off addictions. It's very rare, but it's happened. So, you know, I don't know how I feel on steroids from a recreational perspective, because it has a lot of good uses, they have a lot of bad uses. And keep in mind, steroids isn't like weed. And hell, even with weed, it isn't like weed. You know, with weeds, we have different strains. We got sativas, we got indicas, we got hybrids. Those are types. But, you know, we got the different strains like Trainwreck and shit like that. You know what I mean? Our strains are Blueberry Pie, our Skywalker OG. You know? That cream cake. The nerd strain. You know what I'm talking about, boys? You know what I'm talking about with the strains of that bud? So yeah, and it's like that. Steroids, it's all these different pill forms and shit like that. Each one does a different thing. You can mix and match, but it needs to be mixed and matched correctly. You just can't take a handful and down it like I'm mixing edibles and fucking different strains of weed in a jar, you know. It's a much different type of situation. So, now that we've covered the whole recreational drug use thing, how do I feel on his apology? Well, that's actually where we get even more complicated, because again, I don't actively follow the Liver King. This apology of his was my honest-to-God introduction to him. You know, and I know I have the Atozi video in the background as background footage. But I have watched the actual apology video. And a lot of people have said it's damage control. No shit. You know, let's be real. If I were to do a fuck up today and had to make an apology video tomorrow, it's gonna be damage control. Right? Let's not pretend. That's why you apologize. Okay? Let's get rid of the elementary school feely bullshit. I'm sorry, I'm gonna rip the band-aid off really hard. Nobody apologize. That's a little bit of a lie. I've apologized because I've legitimately felt bad in some cases. But I can safely tell you, as a human being, 99% of the times I have apologized, it's been damage control. 99% of the time my friends have apologized to me over something. It's been damage control. You know, when someone else throws a fit over it, and it gets in your view and your attention, and you're going all wacky inside, yeah, it's damage control. That's why you apologize. Them's the breaks. Yeah, we want the honest-to-God, feely apologies, but this is something people need to acknowledge. That's the whole point of the apologies. The state of the apology is inherently damage control. You know, if I were to step on my dog's paw and I were to see it cry, freak out, whimper, and start running around like a crazy-ass goose, I would be apologizing, yeah, because I do feel bad that I stepped on my dog's paw, but because I don't want my dog hating me. It is damage control. If I were to step on my cat's tail and it were to start batting at me and going crazy and biting me, I'd be apologizing, because, yeah, I'd feel a little bad, but again, it is damage control, because I don't want a cat biting my ass. Get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? This isn't complicated. And listen, I get I'm coming off as little douchey McGee with the second half here, but it's like, we need to acknowledge how apologies work. Like, listen, I don't like saying it either. I don't want to be the guy to say it. But them's the breaks with the apology. It is always inherently damage control. So now that we've gone over what an apology inherently is, how do I feel on it? Now that we're not worried about the is it or is it not damage control. It's always damage control, okay? We're not going to bullshit. When I apologize, it's damage control. If I were to have someone in the comments apologizing, it'd be damage control. If a Tozy were to fuck up tomorrow and make an apology video, even though he might legitimately feel bad about it, I'm pretty sure he would agree with me on this, at least a little bit. It will inherently be damage control, no matter how inherently good or bad you feel on it. So now that we've got that covered, my opinion on the Liver King's apology is, I don't know how genuine it is. That's the thing. Because I don't watch this guy. I don't consume his content. I've tried to get a little brief overview on who he is, what he's about, all that. I've skimmed through some of his, they're not sermons, but preaching moments, his educational shits. They're basically sermons for muscle-bound fucks, okay? Let's be real. They're basically muscle-bound fuck sermons. I don't mean to be going off and wilding on the second half. I'm sorry. I'm trying to calm it down. I'm trying to tone it down. But my ADHD and bipolar disorder is not letting me, Chief. But honestly, based off the video, I just feel mixed. As this my one true interaction with the Liver King, watching the apology video, I almost want to say it is genuine, because he goes off on a lot of things like men's mental health and stuff like that. He goes on to say why, well, he doesn't fully cover it, but he says a teeny tiny bit why he was taking roids, how he started the Liver King character, so to speak. And it's like, from the outside looking in, feeling as mixed as I do on this situation, because this covers recreational drug use a little bit, which is something we talk about a lot on the channel. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. I want to say it's genuine. I really do. Like again, outside looking in type thing, briefly skimming over some stuff he did in the past and ways about. It almost feels genuine, I should say. But again, I feel mixed because I don't know fully on this guy. I don't actively consume him a lot. My real big introduction was Moist Critical and a Tozy 2 weeks ago covering this shit. So yeah, that's really my thoughts on the Liver King shit. I want to believe it's genuine, but I just don't know for sure. I do genuinely want to believe it's a genuine apology. Like, I do want to believe that, though. Because it's just like, that. Like, listen, I get it. We'll let the videos play through. I don't care what shows up in the background now. We've been talking for 20 minutes. I just don't know. Like, the dude seems passionate. He seems, I don't know, he seems like a good guy to go out and have a beer with, if I'm being honest. Like, he seems like the life of the fucking party. Like, if there's one thing I do want to say about the Liver King that I do enjoy, that man's personality is just wild. And like, Liver King, if you're ever in PA, I'll buy you a beer. If you're ever in Pennsylvania, Lancaster County, I'll buy you a beer, Liver King. Like, listen, I don't care about this stuff. This is just me covering this video, but you legitimately seem like the life of the living party, man. You legitimately seem like the life of the party, and that's not a shitpost. Like, I love the man's energy. I do love his fucking energy. I can't lie on that. He does have some good energy to him. But with this whole situation in mind, going over the apology video, how I want to believe it's genuine, but I feel mixed on it because I just don't know enough about the guy. Like, yeah. Liver King's apology video, I give it an 8 out of 10. Would totally consume again. No, we're not going to play that dumb shit posting game with this one, boys. But no, seriously though, at the end of the day, recreational drug use is a mixed topic. Everyone's going to have a different opinion on it, regardless if it's steroids, white powder, nicotine, alcohol, fucking weed. You know, everybody's going to have a different opinion on it. Like, recreational drug use very much is a tricky topic here on Earth. Like, we're not even talking the States. We're talking the planet in damn general. Like, there's not really a place, besides Denver, apparently. Like, there's not really a place you could go to where recreational drug use is just universally agreed upon. Yes, we have some cities and states here in the United States where it's a little more open than others. But you're never gonna find that society that is perfectly approving of it. For example, Canada right now, we thought they were doing well with healthcare and all that shit up there, and they were opening up all this different shit to let people get help for all this stuff. And now they're having this thing where they want to fucking euthanize people, basically. So, yeah. No place on Earth is a good place to be discussing recreational drug use. I know I should have said that at the beginning, and I shouldn't have said it towards the end. But it's like, that's really what we wanted to cover here on the channel, is the whole thing around the recreational drug use part of it. Because again, I don't care if you take steroids. Do what bag you gotta do, okay? Uncle Johnny isn't gonna hate on you. Uncle Von Duke isn't here to spread the hate. You know, whatever bag you gotta do it. I don't care what age, gender, where on earth you are, you know? Like, listen, as someone who has grown up from, like, literally a sperm cell to fucking now, like, I'm gonna find it hard not to consider my whole life's experience up until this point when giving my opinion on this. And, you know, the reality is, and this is gonna turn a lot of people off, but I was a recreational user as a teenager. You know, I would argue as a preteen, too. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit and lies to you guys. I very much was that kid growing up. I was. So, I as someone who was a preteen and teen to an adult doing shit he shouldn't have done, I can't mock others regardless of age, gender, location, what their profession is, blah, blah, blah. I just can't. It would be the most literal, hypocritical thing of me. You know, and I'm gonna lose people on this one, but like, if I were to cover, I would never cover a story like this first off, because those are just things I don't want to touch on the channel. You know, there are certain things the character, even Johnny Von Duke, won't touch. You know, there are certain things the character won't touch. There are certain things me, Bradley, won't touch. There are just certain things we won't touch with it. But it's like, if I were to cover a story of like a 13-year-old smoking weed, or vaping, or drinking alcohol, or whatever, you know, I don't know what I would even be able to say on that. Right? Like, I get we're comparing, like, a teenager doing drugs, or preteen in this scenario, to a Liver King doing recreational steroid use, and then to me, someone who did it as a preteen to a teenager, and then loosened it up to just weed as an adult and nicotine. Like, I don't know how I would even be able to voice my opinion on that because of just my life's experience with it, you know? I'm the case where, and here's the reality with recreational drug use. We're not going to pretend this. There are so many fucking cases where it goes wrong. I would just be tempted to tell you to live a sober lifestyle right now. Like, that's me being real. As a stoner, as a vapor, as someone who intentionally has a beer every once in a while, that's my honest opinion. If you could just stay sober, do it. But with that being said, also with my life experience up until this point, I can't go against someone on it, regardless of age, gender, location, what their profession is, blah, blah, blah. Race, ethnicity, cultural background, you name it. Like, listen, a 5-year-old could be taking pills, and I would unfortunately just have to tie my hands on it. Like, that's the thing. Because I very much was doing wrong stuff at ages as young as that, too. Like, I'm not gonna pretend. Like, I've gotten my hands on stuff I shouldn't have. I just... Ever since I was a kid, man. Like, we're talking preteen. And it's like, I know I'm spiraling down here, but this is all part of how I feel on this topic, so I feel it's relevant to explain it. It's just like, as someone who has taken things he shouldn't have from as young as age, fuck, like, I think the first time I ever gotten a hold of what could be called a drug was like 8. If I'm going off memory here as accurately as I can. It's probably younger as like 7. But my brain's telling me like 8 years old. So it's like... And yeah, nothing's gone wrong. I'm here. I'm living life. I have a job. I have a car. I have a girlfriend. I'm doing YouTube for fun. I play video games. Like, nothing's really going wrong in life. I'm living a perfectly normal life. But, you know, there are just... Yes, I am the case where it didn't go wrong. Sure. I know we're getting serious here, and I know this video is getting serious, and it's like, it's hard being the case where it didn't go wrong, because there are so many cases where it did go wrong for people, you know? And that's the thing, being the case where it didn't go wrong, you just feel fucked. Because you can't speak out, oh, I want full-on recreational drug use, but you can't speak out the other way too. You know, you can't say it's bad and you can't say it's good. You're like stuck in this weird middle ground spot. Because I can acknowledge all the dumb things I did from like as young as age 8, taking things that I shouldn't have. You know, I can acknowledge all that is bad. I really can. But at the same time, as someone who has done all these things, like, can I reasonably say yes or no? I don't know. I really don't. I can give my honest opinion on these matters, but it's just like, as someone who is focusing on the purely human part and the purely recreational drug use part of the story, it's like, I don't know anymore with this. It's really hard to, like, give proper talks on this stuff. Because the reality is, you're dealing with a whole human population that ranges from sperm cells to 100-year-old grandmothers. Right? And that's the reality. And they all fall under this giant umbrella that is recreational drug use. Everyone can fall into it. So when we're talking about these topics, we have to acknowledge there are teenagers, preteens, and kids also in these umbrellas. We can't just pretend it's purely adults and elderly grandmothers taking too much pain meds. You know, we can't pretend on that. And as someone who was part of the preteen, teen, kid world, recreational drug user shit, like, I don't know. And keep in mind, I am like the 5% that it didn't go wrong for. You know, I'm still here doing shit normally. I've never gotten sent to a rehab center. Yes, I've had my dumbass down moments with a bottle or two, but I've never been within the full-on addiction territory. Or what could be argued as the full-on addiction territory, at least from my view and my experience and what my friends tell me as their honest opinions, you know? It's like, I really don't know how I feel on the topic. Yeah, part of me wants to just scream, it's okay, chase your bag, but we acknowledge it's more complicated than that. Which is why it's hard covering videos like this, really. Like cases with the Liver King. Because when we acknowledge cases like the Liver King, we have to acknowledge this whole big umbrella that ranges from sperm cells to 100-year-old grandmothers. Which sucks ass. That we have to acknowledge that umbrella when making these videos, but if we didn't, well, I wouldn't be much better than every other YouTuber or social media person on the face of the damn earth. You know, I don't want to pull punches with this stuff. I want to be real and have open conversations with y'all. I get I have an audience of like 10 people at 200 subs, but it doesn't matter to me. You know, we're here. We're on the internet. This isn't country bound. We aren't landlocked. We're in the open space, the free ether. Blah, 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 you know? Like, why can't I hop on the Vine and speak honestly, so to speak? I don't know. It's just a really complicated topic and world we live in. The topic of recreational drug use is complicated. We've already gone over the Liver King shit, blah, 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 blah. We're now circling, aren't we? Well, with all those circles in mind, with all this personal information out, with all of us having these deep, invigorating conversations, I don't care. You know, I'm just here to live. I'm here to talk honestly. I'm here to just talk. That's what I do. Johnny Von Duke, we just talk and be honestly, you know? Johnny Von Duke is an avenue for Bradley to speak honestly half the time. So, hey, whatever. Here you go. You're learning more about me. And that's fine. You know, I'm still here. I'm doing better. I'm not doing nearly half the dumb stuff I was doing as a teenager and preteen and stuff like that. So, maybe that's the more important thing, reflecting on that half of the conversation we've been having tonight. But overall, in the Liver King stuff, I want his apology to be genuine. And I just, overall, he keeps being honest, I guess. And I will buy you a beer if you're ever in PA. Liver King, hit me up. You can comment on my channel. I know you have a YouTube channel. But no, seriously, I want Liver King's thing to be genuine. He does seem like he has a lot of good energy. It seems like he wants to do a lot better stuff. You know, he just seems like an overall guy who wants people to be better but he has his own bad habits, you know, vibe I'm getting. But anyway, guys, if there's anything specific in this video you found interesting and want to talk about more in the comments, you're more than free to do that. I have been Johnny Von Duke, and it is time to take it away, other me. Shamalama bam bang ching chang lang lang. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. It's pretty much a nothing burger, but if you've been watching my channel for all 8 years that's existed, you should know that's kind of what we do here. Anyway, if you somehow found yourself enjoying it, click over here to watch another video, click over here to watch another degenerate video, click here to subscribe to my channel, then click down there for, well, whatever lazy lack of originality content I put there. Anyway, get the fuck out of here, you filthy animal. Goodbye.